In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister chairs the Red River Delta Region Coordinating Council's meeting. And later on, Provincial Competitiveness Index continues to improve. And in a world news, Russia holds military parade to mark the victory over Nazi Germany.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Dylan Lei with the latest updates. Now on the top of today's bulletins, on May the 9th, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, chairman of the Red River Delta Coordination Council, chaired the third conference of the council. At the conference, the Prime Minister outlined the need for a transformation in the mindset, methods, and visions of developing new values and implementing the master plan for the Red River Delta region with tradition, connections, breakthroughs, inclusion, unity, and sustainability.
Opening the meeting, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh said that along with defining priorities in resources mobilization and allocation, the meeting aims to analyze challenges and specific tasks to effectively implement the Politburo and government's solutions as well as the region's planning. On May 4th, Prime Minister Chinh approved the planning for the Red River Delta region in the 2021 to 2030 period with a vision to 2050. Under the planning, the region is defined as a strategic location of extreme significance. It serves as the leading growth motivation and guides economic structure reform and growth model transformation. The region has recorded positive socioeconomic development results, with the gross regional domestic product or GRDP reaching 6.28% in 2023, ranking third in the 6 major economic regions.
Firstly, we must closely follow reality, thoroughly grasp and creatively apply the guidelines, policies, and laws of the party and state in accordance with the conditions and circumstances. We must promote the spirit of self-reliance of each locality and link closely and effectively to develop the whole region and have clear mechanisms and policies, smooth infrastructure, and smart management.
Going forward, the Prime Minister has requested ministries, branches, and localities in the region to continue closely and seriously implement Resolution 30 of the Politburo. They must also organize the implementation of regional and provincial planning effectively and substantively, speak the truth and do the truth, while emphasizing 12 important keywords in the regional development motto.
Some of the keywords in implementing planning: development and regional integration in the coming time, tradition, connection, breakthroughs, inclusiveness, unity, and sustainability. The fundamental factors are development based on science and technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, promoting 3 strategic breakthroughs, a focus on developing new driving forces such as digital transformation, green transformation, circular economy development, regional connectivity, and sharing and knowledge economies.
The Prime Minister asked regional localities to be pragmatic in their application of party and state policies to suit the situation of their respective localities as well as the whole region. He added that they must optimize their internal strength with strong connections and ensure smooth policies, good infrastructure, and smart governance.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh received Chief Financial Officer or CFO of Samsung Electronics Park Ha-kyu in Hanoi on May the 9th. The Prime Minister called on the firm from the Republic of Korea to view Vietnam as a strategic manufacturing and export base. The government leader applauded Samsung's efforts and determination while conducting business in Vietnam. Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh affirmed that the Vietnamese government consistently understands the importance of improving the investment climate and pledges to create favorable conditions for long-term operations of foreign enterprises. For his part, Park noted Samsung has invested $22.4 billion in Vietnam so far and plans to add about $1 billion to its investment in the Southeast Asian country annually. Aside from research, development, manufacturing, and export of electronic and high-technology products, the group has also been investing in supporting industries, manpower training for Vietnamese companies, and helping local firms to engage in its production and supply chain. Vice Chairman of the National Assembly Chen Guangfeng received Jiang Qingwei, Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, or NPC, of China on Wednesday. At the reception, the Vice Chairman of the National Assembly emphasized the progress in Vietnam-China relations after the historic visits of the two General Secretaries of the two parties at the end of 2022 and 2023. In the coming time, the Vietnamese National Assembly and the NPC of China needs to coordinate the implementation of signed cooperation agreements and build and concretize the content of National Assembly deputies' training programs. For his part, Jiang Qingwei suggested that the two sides commit to implementing the focuses of the meeting in national governance, legislative work, and supervision. The world's trade economy is significantly impacted by global volatility. In this context, the free trade agreements that Vietnam has recently signed are demonstrating their effectiveness and emerging as strong drivers for trade cooperation between Vietnam and key markets. Particularly, trade and investment relations between Vietnam and the UK have witnessed brisk growth in recent times.
This UK business specialises in handcrafting mobile phones with market-leading technology. The brand has gained a reputation in Europe and is gradually expanding its foothold in Asian markets. Among these, Hanoi was chosen by the business as its first destination in Southeast Asia and the second destination in Asia after Dubai.
Vietnam has got one of the highest growing GDPs in Southeast Asia, and you can see just looking around us here, while we picked this location, we have these apartments are $4.5 million each. I checked yesterday. Our friends here, Bulgari, Rolex.
A young demographic and a rising middle and upper class are the factors that make the Vietnamese market attractive to foreign investors. In addition, the Vietnam-UK Free Trade Agreement will help Vietnam save up to £114 million in export taxes to the UK, while the UK will save £36 million in export taxes to Vietnam. These incentives helped bilateral trade reach nearly $8 billion last year, marking a threefold increase compared to that of 2010, when the two countries established a strategic partnership.
The business and trade relationship between Vietnam and the UK is really, really strong. So we have multiple free trade agreements with Vietnam. We've got the UK-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, and we've recently acceded to the CPTPP, and there's a great trade and economic relationship between the UK and Vietnam. It's roughly £6 billion, and it's growing, and it's grown rapidly in the last few years.
The service industry accounts for more than 70% of the UK's GDP. The two countries are expected to further capitalise on the benefits of the UK VFTA agreement. With the UK's official participation in the CPTPP, bilateral trade could double by 2030.
On Thursday, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, VCCI, held a ceremony to announce the Provincial Competitiveness Index, or PCI, and Provincial Green Index, or PGI, reports for 2023. The PCI 2023 result shows that the quality of economic management at the provincial level continues to improve over time. Quảng Ninh, Long An, Hải Phòng, Bắc Giang, and Đồng Tháp are the top 5 localities in the PCI rankings. Holding first place in the PGI 2023 ranking is Quảng Ninh Province, Đà Nẵng City, Đồng Nai, Hưng Yên, and Ho Chi Minh City.
Quảng Ninh Province leads the PCI rankings for the 7th consecutive year. The province of Long An has made great progress, rising to second place on the PCI rankings, up 8 places compared to the previous year. The gap between leading localities and bottom-ranked localities has gradually narrowed.
For the first time in 19 years since we began publishing the report, the province at the bottom of the rankings reached 60 per 100.
The top localities are also facing great pressure to foster a favorable business and investment environment while still maintaining the effectiveness of reform efforts.
Rising in the ranking and gaining points is difficult, and maintaining it is even more difficult. People, businesses, and services are at the center of all problems. The task of reforming the business investment environment only has a starting point, not an ending point.
PCI results also show that local business support has changed positively. Unofficial costs continue to decrease. Market entry procedures have become more convenient, and administrative procedures have been reformed and display positive results.
The United States is one of Vietnam's largest investors, and I think it really is thanks to what PCI has done, which is to show investors which provinces are most competitive.
However, according to small and medium-sized businesses, the business environment is not truly equal for them. There are signs that accessing land may become more difficult.
Right now, we are still facing difficulties because we do not have level land and cannot access land as quickly as possible. We hope this is resolved soon to achieve a more favorable business environment.
In general, businesses said they were facing many difficulties in operations. Meanwhile, the dynamism and pioneering of local government officials is showing signs of slowing down.
Southern Power Corporation has promptly completed energizing and putting into operation many 110 kilovolts power grid projects in response to increased demand in recent times. Besides contributing to increasing transmission capacity and ensuring the safety of the power system, energizing 110 kilovolts power grid projects also helps improve power supply capacity for socio-economic development and people's daily needs. More to follow.
After nearly 8 months of construction, Thanh Tân 110 kilovolt transformer station and a connecting branch in Mỏ Cây Bắc district, Bến Tre province, have been completed ahead of schedule and are now operational.
Previously, Mỏ Cây Bắc district only received electricity from the Mỏ Cây 110 kV station. The electricity receiving radius is quite far and the electricity quality is also unstable. Putting Thanh Tân station into use will ensure electricity supply for the area.
The energizing ceremony of Thanh Tân 110 kilovolt station is also an important milestone, contributing to speeding up the completion of the remaining 5 110 kilovolt projects.
The Provincial Party Committee has said the provincial projects are key. The province has also established steering committees to mobilize locals to hand over the sites soon so that the projects can be completed on schedule.
In the first 4 months of this year, Southern Power Corporation started 10 projects and completed and put into operation 7 110 kilovolt power grid projects. It is expected that in 2024, southern provinces and cities will begin construction on 34 power projects and 24 projects will be put into operation.
Coming up next on VTV News. Groundwater in the Central Highlands consistently decreases. And later on, health experts affirm AstraZeneca vaccine safety amid worldwide recalls. Now moving on to other important updates, authorities in Ho Chi Minh City have outlined stronger flood prevention measures as heavy rains and high tides continue to cause severe flooding in 18 streets of the city. This information was made by representatives of the Municipal Department of Construction at the Ho Chi Minh City's press conference on reviewing the city's socio-economic situation. 13 out of 18 streets are being flooded by heavy rains and the rest are flooded by high tides. According to the city's plan, this year and next year, the authority will implement projects to improve the city's drainage system. Groundwater resources in the Central Highlands have been facing the risk of depletion and pollution, according to hydrogeological experts. The situation is becoming more and more complicated as in recent years, climate change has caused widespread drought, causing river systems, reservoirs, and groundwater to be seriously affected.
Due to long, intense drought over the course of many months, water wells in the border commune of Uravay subdistrict, Dak Lak province have rapidly depleted. As a result, hundreds of households have experienced serious water shortages.
Everyone here lacks water. There is still water in houses in the lower region, but in higher places, from morning to afternoon, there are only drips of water. It's very uncomfortable in this hot weather.
Dung family in the Uravay commune, subdistrict, has also been lacking domestic water for several months. Although the house has drilled 5 wells, none of them have water left.
There's no water here, and the wells are all dry.
According to data from Vietnam Institute of Meteorology, Hydrology and Climate Change, before 1990, there was over 2,270 underground water sources in the Central Highland provinces. Now only 40 to 60% of water sources are left.
There is currently a decline in water resources due to factors such as climate change and land use activities. Underground water resources, including water for everyday use, are depleting, leading to water shortages during the dry season.
Now in the Central Highland provinces, there are 45 water-scarce areas with an area of over 490 square kilometers. In addition, climate change, the decline in natural forest area, along with the unreasonable exploitations of irrigation works and reservoir, also lead to the depletions of water resources in the Central Highlands.
For the first time, Cần Thơ Central General Hospital in the Mekong Delta has successfully performed a kidney transplant. This marks a significant milestone in applying organ transplant techniques to treat diseases in the region. The patient who received the kidney has recovered and is being monitored in the intensive care unit. The 34-year-old male patient from Bến Tre province was diagnosed with end-stage chronic kidney failure. He voluntarily registered for a kidney transplant. After extensive preparation, at the end of April, a team of doctors from Chợ Rẫy Hospital and Cần Thơ Central General Hospital performed a kidney transplant on the patient. After 2 weeks, the patient's health has stabilized and his kidney function has almost returned to normal. The success of this kidney transplant marked an important milestone in the development of Cần Thơ Central General Hospital. With this surgery, Cần Thơ Central General Hospital has become the 26th hospital in Vietnam capable of performing kidney transplant. Pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca announced that it has begun recalling its COVID-19 vaccine worldwide. Accusations that the vaccine causes a rare side effect that can lead to blood clots has caused concern among those who received the AstraZeneca vaccine. However, a representative of the Ministry of Health affirmed if this side effect occurs, it is only in the 3 to 21-day window following the vaccination.
Explaining the reason for the recall, AstraZeneca said that worldwide there is currently a surplus of available calibrated vaccines for COVID-19 pandemic. This led to a decline in demand for the company's COVID-19 vaccine, which is no longer produced or available on the market. The Drug Administration, the Ministry of Health, also said that Vietnam is no longer using this vaccine. The vaccine previously licensed for circulation have expired. Thus, AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine is no longer being imported into Vietnam. AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine shots were last administered in Vietnam before July last year.
The virus strain of SARS-CoV-2 has mutated. Now people produce vaccines that are suitable for these new strains, and vaccines for old strains are no longer used. So I think their recall is normal procedure and not because of the rare side effect.
Regarding the very rare side effect leading to blood clot, experts in the field of vaccine confirm the risk only occurs within 3 to 21 days following the vaccination. 2-year post-vaccination studies with AstraZeneca vaccine in people with a history of blood clot and people without show no cases of rare side effect after 21 days. Vietnam has injected 70 million doses of vaccine and only recorded 2 cases of side effect.
We can say with complete confidence that we have completed the vaccination campaign safely and effectively, and since July 23rd of last year, we have not deployed the vaccine. People can rest assured that they will not have to worry about blood clots anymore.
The World Health Organization also affirmed that AstraZeneca vaccine is safe and has very rare side effects.
The city of Haiphong will hold the 11th Red Flamboyant Flower Festival, a signature event for the city's tourism brand, this weekend. This year's festival also celebrates the 69th anniversary of the city's Liberation Day and the one-year celebration of UNESCO recognition of Ha Long Bay Cat Ba Archipelago as a World Natural Heritage Site. The festival will be held on the largest scale ever this year.
As May arrives, thousands of flamboyant trees paint Haiphong City in a vivid red color. The city also becomes bustling with numerous activities during the Red Flamboyant Flower Festival.
I can't wait for the annual festival to arrive. Everyone comes to enjoy many joyful activities.
We're very excited about this festival. It gives us a sense of pride in our city.
The night art program, titled Haiphong, Brightening the Heritage Area, is the highlight of the festival. The event offers a highly artistic space using virtual reality technology and 3D mapping. Nearly 1,000 artists and actors will perform at the Political Administrative Center Square in North Gum River, a space that boasts a capacity of up to 18,000 people.
We will present a lighting performance that utilizes laser mapping to connect the entire building. This festival aims to elevate the city's status as a centrally managed entity and further its vision.
This event will provide spectators with an impressive stage. It is the result of the diligence of crews and the utilization of advanced technology. We expect this will be a treat for the city's citizens and tourists attending this year's festival.
Additionally, 26 events and 78 activities will take place throughout the city on this occasion, aimed at promoting the value of the world natural heritage, Ha Long Bay Cat Ba Archipelago, and other regional heritage. The festival is expected to help attract 9.1 million visitors to Haiphong this year.
Coming up next in our world news. Russia holds military parade to mark victory over Nazi Germany. And later on, Japanese company helped autistic people develop talents. Now moving on to our world news, Russia on Thursday celebrated 79 years since the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in the Great Patriotic War with a parade at the Red Square in Moscow at the main highlight. Russian President Putin, along with 8 foreign leaders from Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Laos, Guinea-Bissau, and Cuba took part in the ceremony. President Putin affirmed that Russians will never forget the sacrifices of their ancestors and announced a commitment to make all efforts to prevent global conflicts whilst protecting the Russian people from threats. The main part of the parade is the solemn march of more than 9,000 honor guards, regiments, battalions, and companies of different branches of the Russian armed forces. About 75 Russian military vehicles and equipment were featured in the parade, including new military assets. The lineup includes various armored vehicles, launchers of Iskander-M operational tactical missile systems, and the S-400 anti-aircraft missile systems. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol announced on Thursday that his government would establish a new ministry to address the country's record-low birth rate and pledged to take advantage of all available capabilities of the country to overcome this situation. South Korea's birth rate fell to 0.72 last year, the lowest among member countries of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, while the average age of childbirth among South Korean women is 33.6, the highest in the OECD. With the current birth rate, South Korea's population is forecast to decrease by half by 2100. The U.S. National Institute of Health has announced that it will conduct clinical trials to test the effectiveness of potential treatment regimens for long-term COVID-19 syndromes. The new tests will be applied to nearly 1,660 people at 50 study sites. The treatment tests are for symptoms which have been significantly harmful to the health of many people with long-term COVID-19, including sleep disturbances, reduced ability to exercise, and fatigue due to exertion. The trials aim to find treatment regimens so that people with long-term COVID-19 syndrome can sleep well, move on their own, and most of all, feel healthy again. According to the International Labour Organization, up to 80 to 90% of people with autism of working age cannot find work. A Japanese animation studio is pioneering talent discovery, vocational training, and job creation for autistic people, not only helping them economically, but also addressing emotional problems, developing communication skills, managing behavior, reducing stress, and increasing self-awareness.
Shoko Shakuma is passionately designing and adding digital effects to keyframes to create animated movies. This is a job she enjoys very much and is also consistent with her childhood passion for painting.
I have several developmental disorders, but this job suits my personality, which is detail-oriented. Superiors and staff here treat me gently, and are always willing to help.
As a person with autism, Sakuma has faced many difficulties in her work as an accountant, but since moving to new job at Shake Hands Animation Studio since 2023, she is able to work all day without tiring from psychological and emotional stressors. Many employees in the studios have similar experiences to Sakuma. They are part of the studio groundbreaking initiative to create jobs and give confidence to people with autism.
They learned much faster than I expected. We can see this through the animated products they create, which are shown to the public.
Shake Hand is a studio behind a series of services for a number of blockbuster animated films. Recently, the studio also received an order from a company in Malaysia to produce animated advertisements. Renowned Japanese mental health expert hoped Shake Hands will inspire other companies to help autistic people develop their talent.
Before I say goodbye, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our official website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.